When I was 28 years old, I married an ambitious man, and we started a business together. However, once the company took off, my husband began cheating on me with a younger woman, eventually trapping me into a divorce. With the help of my sister, a magazine journalist, I resolved to fight back against my ex-husband and reclaim the company. My name is Miriam, and I married Henry, who is 2 years younger than me when I was 28. We divorced when I was 38, 2 years ago. I am now 40 years old and have no children. Henry, my ex-husband, was ambitious from the moment we met. I liked how he talked about his dreams, and I wanted to be by his side, chasing them with him. Looking back now, I realize I didn't have a discerning eye for men. He told me he wanted to start his own company and become a CEO someday. Shortly after we got married, he started a delivery service where people paid to receive organic veggies. He learned a lot about running a business from seminars and meetups with other entrepreneurs. Since more people wanted things delivered and cared about being eco-friendly and sustainable, we were able to start our business strong and keep growing steadily. It's a great idea that makes both farmers and customers happy. Farmers can sell their oddly shaped fruits and veggies instead of throwing them away, and customers get them at a cheap price. I think Americans can learn to waste less. In the United States, among Native Americans, there's a long tradition of utilizing every part of the buffalo, not just the meat, but also the hide, bones, and organs. In many other countries, animals like buffaloes were mainly hunted for meat, and the rest was left unused. But I don't think we should blame the US as a whole for its environmental practices now. This is just something my sister, who works for a magazine, told me. But despite what people say, I still think many Americans are kind. When they hear about struggling farmers, a lot of them think, if I can help, why not? Even though it hurts to see dishonest people abusing kindness to commit fraud, I still believe that, at heart, most people are trustworthy and dependable. My sister, with her strong sense of justice, was furious about the increase in fraud that took advantage of people's kindness. So, I supported and assisted my husband, Henry's business. I traveled all over America, visiting farmers and listening to their stories. During that time, Henry truly seemed to want to be a bridge between farmers and consumers, and he became acquainted with farmers all over the country. I was happy to receive newly harvested corn and heartwarming thank you letters, and I also found fulfillment in my work. Since my husband and I couldn't have children, the company became like a child to me. We faced challenges, starting from scratch, but it grew steadily and brought joy to us as a couple. However, as the company grew and profits increased, our relationship as a couple began to falter. My husband started whining and dining excessively, sometimes coming home smelling strongly of expensive perfume.
You want kids, right? You're 35, aren't you? I'm only 33, so maybe I should start over with a young woman in her 20s.
When he came home drunk and said that, I was deeply hurt. And indeed, my husband started cheating with a younger woman. While outwardly portraying ourselves as a happy couple running a company, we eventually became nothing more than a facade of a married couple. I have a younger sister who works as a magazine journalist. Unlike me, who is more reserved, she is assertive and speaks her mind. Her name is Tammy. Just hurry up and get divorced already. It's not very nice to someone who's shared so many hardships with him like you, Miriam. You know, I really dislike men who, as soon as they become famous, dump their long-term girlfriends and marry younger women. I was told this the other day when we were having a meal together. Even though your hard work has helped the company succeed, does that mean he should leave just because you've had a bit of success? I had been considering divorce even before my sister mentioned it. Just then, an incident occurred. My husband asked me to meet someone from a new business contact at a specific place. My husband said we should splurge and reserve a nice restaurant because the client is important. And indeed, it was a first-class hotel restaurant. The man from the business showed up alone, and as we started discussing work over dinner, he didn't quite catch on. But he was a great talker. We ended up drinking more. I can handle alcohol pretty well. You are a good-looking guy, aren't you? Shall we move to the counter for a drink? However, before I knew it, I found myself lying on the bed in a hotel room. I quickly got up and checked, but my clothes were fine and I was alone in the room. My head hurt badly, and I've never felt like this after drinking, so it seemed strange. That's definitely weird. You're really good at handling alcohol. Could it be that someone drugged you? But there wasn't any sign of rough treatment, right? If something like that happened, you'd surely know. Oh no. Could it be that I've become weaker with alcohol as I've gotten older? Oh, Miriam. This is not the time to be so carefree. Though scolded by my sister, I had nothing to feel guilty about, so I asked my husband about the business contact, and he said he knew nothing about his private life.
He was quite a handsome guy, wasn't he? Didn't you enjoy yourself too?
He said things that made me doubt his character. One day, feeling unsettled, my husband suddenly handed me a completed divorce form. Along with the divorce form, he handed me an envelope. Inside were several photos of me with a man from the other day. Photos of us dining at a table, toasting at the bar counter, and entering a hotel room together. What is this? In the photo of the hotel room, I'm leaning against the man, seemingly surrendering my body to him.
You're quite something, too. You must have enjoyed it after all. There's no choice but to divorce a cheating woman. I won't ask for compensation.
With a smirk, my husband says so. Finally, even I, slow to catch on, realized. From the beginning, it was all orchestrated by my husband. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such photos. If divorce were due to my husband's infidelity, I would naturally be entitled to compensation. To avoid that, he fabricated evidence of mutual infidelity. I thought he was incredibly pathetic. Before I knew it, he had become such a despicable and unrespectable man. No way! Did he just sign the divorce papers and leave? What that man did is a crime, you know. Should we sue or take legal action? Or maybe I can ask our company's lawyer for help? Ugh, I can't believe it, she exclaimed. The magazine my sister works for is known for getting all the big stories first, from entertainment to politics, so they often need lawyers' help for different reasons. It's fine. I didn't want to be with that man anymore. I'm relieved to be done with it. Jeez, you've always been like that, haven't you? Not greedy, or rather bold. While amazed, my sister treated me to a slightly extravagant meal. Our parents didn't blame me for returning to home before turning 40. Rather, my mother seemed strangely pleased.
Your sister shows no signs of getting married, and you've come back home. My daughters really are.
Though she said that, she seemed secretly delighted. After divorcing me, Henry quickly remarried a woman who had just graduated from college at 23. She's not beautiful, but she comes from a good family and seems quiet. A colleague interviewed him for a section on up-and-coming young entrepreneurs. I'm worried about being recognized, you know. That guy looks good on the outside and talks smoothly, so it's easy to see how naive girls like her could fall for him, my sister said angrily. Lately, it seems he's started handling diet supplements and health foods, and his performance seems to be good. They're bombarding us with online ads left and right, but it all seems incredibly suspicious, you know. A diet supplement that helps you lose 5 kilograms in 10 days? Ugh, come on, if something like that existed, humanity would be doomed in no time. But everyone still holds on to a faint hope and ends up buying it. I've seen my sister herself buying and drinking those kinds of beauty supplements several times. More importantly, sis, the organic vegetable delivery service that you and that guy initially launched has been getting some bad reviews lately. The number of 1-star reviews and negative reviews has increased. I've been concerned about that too. With my divorce came my withdrawal from the company's management, leaving me feeling helpless and frustrated. According to my sister, my ex-husband has been saying things like,
"Organic vegetable delivery is like charity work. The profit margin is too small."
Selling ineffective diet supplements on a subscription basis must indeed be easier. I wonder how the farmers we used to work with are faring. When I divorced and stepped away from the business, I sent farewell letters, and everyone seemed genuinely disappointed and concerned. They trusted us and signed contracts, so I couldn't help but worry that I was betraying their trust. Just as I was pondering this, a forwarded mail arrived. It was like an internal whistleblowing petition addressed to me personally. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 letters. It was over 20 letters, desperate messages from the farmers. Vegetables are living beings. They're influenced by weather conditions, and there can be differences in their quality. That's why we maintained close contact with the farmers to monitor the growing conditions of the vegetables. When the scheduled vegetables weren't available, we'd seek help from other farmers, building a network of mutual support among them. After I left, my ex-husband, who shifted his focus to other businesses, seemed to have lost his passion for the organic vegetable delivery service he has struggled to establish. The contact with the farmers has ceased, and the interaction has become purely administrative. Furthermore, there are requests to lower the purchase price even more. The quality management and customer service have deteriorated, leading to an increase in customers canceling their subscriptions. It was painful to realize that my divorce was causing inconvenience and hardship to so many people. Seeing the company I nurtured like my own child falling apart was unbearable. One day, feeling down, my sister took me shopping to cheer me up. After purchasing local specialties at a boutique showcasing regional products in New York, I encountered a familiar face as I left the store. It was my ex-husband.
"Can't afford to go on a trip, so they're shopping here. The older sister who returned home and the broke old hag are quite pitiful. 2 women shopping together."
Upon seeing us, my ex-husband smirked and sneered. Originally, my sister and my ex-husband disliked each other and had a bad relationship. My sister said, "If my older sister likes him, there's nothing to be done about it, but I never trusted that man from the beginning." She had disliked him from the beginning of our marriage, and my ex-husband,
"She's a strong-willed and cheeky woman without charm,"
he said, despising my sister. "Oh my, you're so carefree, aren't you? I wonder if it's okay for you to leisurely shop around here like this. Is everything okay with your company?" Surprised by the sudden questions from my sister, my ex-husband seemed taken aback.
"Huh?"
"The company you started with my sister doesn't seem to be doing well, does it?"
"Oh, that. Well, that company is done for. It wasn't making much profit anyway. There are plenty of businesses out there that can make money more efficiently."
Henry's words were like a dagger to me, cutting deep. "By businesses that can make money more efficiently, do you mean those scam-like health food and supplement companies?"
"What the hell? She's still rude. That's why she can't even get married."
"You don't have to worry about me. I'll be just fine. You know the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword? At best, be nice while you still can." As my sister smirked defiantly, my ex-husband retorted,
"Ugh, you're insufferable. You're just jealous because you're poor."
With a shrug, he walked away. The following week, a special feature on my ex-husband's new business, selling supplements and health foods, was exposed on my sister's magazine's website. Luxury supplements and health foods. Suspicious products targeted at wealthy ladies. The truth behind them. Although the article didn't explicitly name names, it was clear to those in the know. It seems my ex-husband had ingratiated himself with wealthy ladies through his new young wife's connections, then sold his usual supplements and health foods, but in fancy packaging and at high prices. In response to the timing of the article, I took action. The company my ex-husband and I started was a privately held corporation, and I owned a small portion of the shares. Many of our shareholders were supportive farmers. I visited each of these farmers, explaining the situation and asking for their cooperation. They had believed in our initiative and invested in it, and they would benefit from its success. The concern about the current situation was undeniable. The trust that had been built up until then was significant. Most people gladly cooperated with me. As a result, my ex-husband was dismissed at the shareholders' meeting. Combined with the shares entrusted to me, I now held the majority of the company's shares, and there was an urgent need to recover from the rapid decline in performance. My ex-husband was swiftly ousted from the company. I became the new president.
I'll gladly hand over a company like this.
That's what my ex-husband said, but he seemed taken aback by the unexpected exposure from my sister's article. Being on the web, it had a wide reach. It caught the attention of a certain young wife, and she relayed her concerns to her parents. Upon learning this, the father of the bride became furious, and rightly so. My husband had used his daughter to do something akin to fraud. It was a stain on their family's reputation. It seems they permitted the marriage, thinking there was potential, but it turned out to be a big misunderstanding. With that said, the parents swiftly brought their daughter back and arranged for a divorce. The parents felt sorry for those who trusted their daughter and ended up being harmed, including friends and acquaintances. So they hosted a lavish party. People sympathized because they thought their innocent daughter was tricked by a bad man, blaming everything on my ex-husband.
Ah, that's satisfying. Now that guy won't be able to start a new company anymore. At least not for a while until things cool down. Well, I won't be the one to let things cool down. I'll never forgive him for calling me a washed-up old hag.
With that, my sister gulped down a pint of draft beer. I was so happy to have regained control of the company that I ordered another round. For now, I'll focus on rebuilding trust and reacquiring lost customers. I'll give it my all, especially with my dedicated employees who are glad to see me return. Later, it turned out my ex-husband got arrested because he added pharmaceutical ingredients to cheap diet pills from abroad, causing health problems. Although he received a suspended sentence, it seems he lost all his assets due to compensation and damages. Now he's working in what's known as a sweatshop, doing manual labor to repay debts. Once he called me for help. I have no obligation to do so. I said this coldly and hung up the phone. When the company finally settled down a bit, my sister and I invited our parents for a weekend trip to a spa. Stretch out your arms and legs in the spacious open-air bath and enjoy the star-filled sky. My mother seemed to be pleasantly surprised.
It's nice to soak in the spa with my 2 daughters like this. It's not the same once they're married off,
she said.
Well, happiness isn't just about getting married.
Saying this, my sister looks at me. Yes, I apologize for causing you concern at that time. I apologized to both of them. Both Mom and my sister are smiling gently.
I feel sorry for Dad. He's the only one in the men's bath area,
my sister said.
In return, I'll let the 2 daughters pour the drinks.
After coming out of the bath, there was a fancy meal and tasty wine waiting.